Hey everyone, it's Ivan Casanova back for another edition of Recruit Forward. Today's topic is how to rapidly improve recruiting performance. In my work here at Jive, I am very lucky that I get to travel around and talk to some of the world's leading companies who are thinking through innovations and how to improve the performance of their recruiting organizations. And it's interesting, I get two questions and two statements a lot. And today on this edition of Recruit Forward, we're going to try to answer those two questions. The first question that I get all the time is, hey Ivan, you guys talk a lot about candidate experience and making my career site work like the rest of the web. And we just are so far away from that. How can we get going? And that's a really hard problem for a lot of companies to think about, is what's the first step they should take? Another problem that they get all the time, or another set of questions that we get is, hey, that's the way we've always done things. Maybe you could show us a way that we could break the bad habit. Well, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine, and we're going all the way back to junior high, middle school science class. Because if you remember all the way back in middle school, you learned about the scientific method. It's a way of thinking about organizing change in an organization. Okay? Today we're going to talk about continuous improvement model. Now that is a fancy way to think about, well, I'm going to plan and look for some areas to improve my recruiting organization. I'm going to implement a change to my organization, maybe isolate the number of variables that we introduce here so we could really test our hypothesis. We're going to measure and we're going to check all of the numbers associated with what we're changing, and then we're going to take action based on what those metrics actually look. So this model right here is called continuous improvement, and we all kind of learned basically what this was when we were about 12 years old in middle school. Now, we think that if we look at the big issues in recruiting today, stuff like employee branding, right? Is my career site reflect the kind of company that we want to be and who we are? Or social recruiting. Hey, there's this great new free advertising platform out there. Am I leveraging it enough to reach all the candidates that I want and to get in contact with people that maybe I never had a chance to reach out to before? Recruitment marketing. This is a really big topic in the industry today, right? Are we doing enough to reach candidates in the places that they are and to entice them to kind of want to work for our organization? My career site in general. Have I invested enough money? Have I invested enough time and effort to make sure that it's the best possible place for people to learn about my company? And have I made it easy enough for them to be able to find those types of jobs and apply for those jobs? Overall candidate experience, right? Today, we live in an economy where it's tough to hire people, takes more time, costs more money. We want to make sure that every single time somebody comes to our website or interacts with us as an employee brand, that we're giving them the best possible experience. I think any one of these would be really, really good topics, all right, to take through the continuous improvement model, but we're going to pick just one to start with, okay? One of the really powerful things about the continuous improvement model is it allows us to focus on a really specific area of our business and isolate that from all other variables to see if we can improve just that one specific area. So that's the exercise that we're going to take now. So we're going to focus in on candidate conversions, right? All of us are really interested in improving conversion ratios. Most organizations still exist with sub 10% application conversion ratios. That means that only 1 in 10 people who start an online job application actually complete that online job application. I know it sounds like a really low number, but there are clients out there who, when they start working with Jive, this is the scenario that they find themselves in. And one of the real drivers that we're going to try to plan for here is application length. I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that the shorter, the simpler the job application, the more likely it is that somebody's going to go ahead and complete that online job application. And we're going to think about what it would mean if we took our current rate, which sits at 8% application completion rate, and actually moved it up to 25%. So that's the plan that we're going to take in this continuous improvement exercise. To get that done, we're going to have to change the way we think about our application process. Now, changing application processes is no joke, and we don't take it very lightly. And we also know that the application process has a lot to do with compliance, and there's lots of other factors involved with what questions we ask job candidates. But I also say this all the time. Is every single question that you're asking in your application flows a requirement? Do you have to have those questions? Is there simpler and easier ways to me to ask these questions? Well, so we're going to look at our application process. We're going to take that stuff out that isn't really required, and we're going to go ahead and update our systems to reflect this new reality. Okay. Once we've done do, now of course we have to check the results. Now we're going to have to let this new application process run for a significant enough period of time so that we capture enough data to make an apples to apples comparison on the precondition that we were doing in our plan phase. All right? And that really is our track progress over 3 months and then analyze the performance. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take action. We're going to act. We're going to adapt our current processes based on the numbers that we get back. So maybe this improves to 25% just by tweaking the questions or taking some questions out, and maybe that makes us happy enough. Maybe we want to go back and look again and iterate again to see if we can even get beyond the 25% into even a higher conversion rate. All right? All we did was isolate one specific variable in our recruiting process, the length of the job application itself. And then over a very short amount of time, 3 months, we took that isolated variable, we planned for what it looks like today and where we want to be. We took some action to change that variable. We checked the results, and then we took action based on that results. That's how you can look at those 2 big questions that I get all the time in recruiting. Number 1, what's the first thing that we should do to get going with candidate experience? The answer is pick something small and really try to go after it. Number 2 is, hey, that's the way we've always done things. Change is really hard. If you isolate down to a really small, finite, specific area of your talent acquisition and recruiting organization, at the end of the day, I think you'll be able to improve that and make a lot of really rapid improvement for the organization. Picking that variable is really important, so prioritization, pick something that's really important to you. And last but not least, it's definitely going to be, it's all about the data. Continuous improvement models are based on following the data and not coming into it with preconceived notions of what the right answers are. Pick something that you care about, isolate it from everything else, and follow the numbers, and I think it's a great way for you to rapidly improve the performance of your recruiting. Check out all the videos that we have online in the Recruit Forward series, and we look forward to seeing you guys the next time. Take care.